All right, everybody, what's going on? It's that time of the week again. The Washington Huskies have a football game tomorrow, and this is the first real test of any kind. This is the first time where the Huskies will be pushed in any sense of the word. This is the first game where it's a realistic possibility that they could lose. And honestly, with the way I'm feeling right now, I kind of feel like that's maybe even the more likely scenario. But we got some stuff to go into with this particular matchup. Obviously, this is a lot more than just one football game against another team that is playing pretty well so far this season. This is a rivalry game that goes back a very long time. Washington versus Washington State. Used to call it the Apple Cup. They don't call it that anymore. We also used to do this in November. We're not doing that anymore. We're doing this in September, I guess, which it's weird, but it's what we're doing. So that is what is going on this week. Just a quick reminder that I will be live streaming play-by-play of this game. I won't be showing the game on screen, but I will be doing a watch-along stream. Should go online Saturday about 12:30, and we're going to stay on for the duration of the game. Should wrap up sometime around 4. And I'll do play-by-play. I'll talk about the game, talk about what I'm seeing, interact with chat. So come by if you have questions. Come by if you have anything else you want to talk about. So make sure to tune in. I think everybody should get this game because it's a bigger game than the first 2 weeks where you were playing really weak competition. So getting the game on TV should not be an issue for even Xfinity customers. So hopefully at least that clears up. So this game, let's try to understand where we are right now, because before the season started, I did say I thought that Washington would take care of business against Washington State and win. But I haven't been terribly impressed with Washington offensively so far this year. And that Cougars offense in particular is off to a pretty big start. They have really whipped some tail the first 2 games. And I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now. I think if Washington plays the way that they played in the first 2 games this year, I think they're going to lose. Because there's some things that Wazoo can do based on those first 2 games. And I know that they played Portland State, not a real team, but Texas Tech is probably better than either team the Huskies have played so far this year, and they had no issue with them. Before I go any further, I want to say thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up button down below. Helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you're new and you want daily Seahawks and weekly Huskies content. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Right. Wazoo, the Cougars, ran for 300 yards last week against a real team. Not a good team. Texas Tech is not a good team, but they're a real team. They're not Weber State. They're not Saginaw Valley State. They're not Troy. No, that's a real college football program there. That's a team that in relatively recent memory has been a relevant school. That's a team that has had relevant 4-star and 5-star prospects. Like, that is not a school that you just show up to roll over because you paid them a bunch of money to get their tail whipped. No, you actually have to play well to beat that team. And Wazoo kind of dominated that game. I watched a part of it. And they ran for 300 on Tech. They've run for over 500 yards so far this season. So, straight up, I'm looking at what Wazoo has done so far this year, and I'm a little more impressed with them than I am with the Huskies. And I'm thinking about the Huskies' defense, which has been excellent so far this year, but I'm thinking about their run defense, which to me, to my eye, has gotten pushed around a little bit through the first 2 games. I don't want to go too far with anything. I don't want to exaggerate the issue, but the run defense against 2 schools that you should have badly outmatched has kind of looked like they put it to a draw. They've been overall excellent, only allowing 12 points in 2 games because we haven't played a real quarterback yet. We haven't played a passing attack that could really go after us. And their ability to run the ball well didn't really amount to anything by the end of that game because they had nothing to supplement it. But if those teams can run the ball effectively against Washington, and for the most part they did, and they can make you look a little weak physically up front, Wazoo might be able to control this game on the ground. They might be able to just kind of handle their business. They have a dual threat quarterback, and they have good running backs as well. That's getting tough. That's getting difficult, and I'm a little bit concerned about that part of the game, enough to where I wonder if this offense is going to be enough to win. Because that Wazoo defense, I don't know, they gave up 30 points to Portland State, but who knows if that means anything. They scored 70. The other team's going to score some points eventually. If you turn it into a horse race, you'd think eventually the other team does something. But TTU, the Red Raiders, I thought the Wazoo defense looked pretty good. I know they lost some of their best players to the draft last year from Brennan Jackson and Jaden Hicks, but the results have not been bad so far. And while this Washington offense has been good, I don't think I would call it great. I think it's a limited offense. I think that it's a high completion percentage offense with an accurate quarterback, but that's about it. Like, we have a good running back, of course, with Coleman. We can run the ball pretty well, but that's against Eastern Michigan and Weber State. That's not against a legitimate program. And I know Washington State's not a title contender this year, but they're a legitimate program. They should be well beyond Weber State. And I don't know if this is going to fly against slightly better prospects. Because right now, Washington, the field has been cramped in a little bit because Will Rogers doesn't have the Michael Penix arm. And he doesn't have the receivers that Penix had, of course. But Penix was a guy who could flick the ball 55, 60 yards down the field at any time. And if you were an opposing defender, you constantly had to be afraid of that. Will Rogers can't do that. He doesn't do that. That's not his game. That's not really what happens in this offense. So the margin for error is just reduced. And with the way this team has gotten off to really slow starts in each of the first 2 games, I think they haven't scored a touchdown in the first quarter yet. They've gone to halftime in both games with things being at least a little bit concerning. Like, if that holds, Wazoo might jump on you enough to where they end up taking control of the game. Because if they are in a situation where they can just run the ball and play with the lead, I think you're in a lot of trouble. So I'm not sitting here saying that I think Washington is going to lose, but I'll go so far as to say I think they will lose if they play the way they played the first 2 weeks. They need to do something early in the game. They need to score some points in that first quarter. I don't want Wazoo to get in a state where they feel like they can just run the ball, because I don't think we can stop them, and I don't think that we'll be able to get back in the game if they can build a significant lead. Force them to air the ball out. Their passing attack has been okay so far this year. It's been manageable. Texas Tech didn't ever really make them throw the ball, so they didn't have to do anything there. And in order to do that, this offense is just going to have to be a little bit sharper in that first quarter of the game. So I think it's just a matter of not making mistakes that put you behind the sticks. This Washington offense can't overcome 3rd and 12 consistently. They can't overcome 1st and 20 consistently. They can't overcome 1st and 15 consistently because their offense just doesn't have that explosive element to it. Rodgers can't push the ball down the field the way Penix did, and with that gone, what's replaced it is a quarterback who is very accurate over the middle and very accurate short and intermediate, but the field has been pulled back a little bit. You can't threaten the same things that we were able to threaten last year. So I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned about this one. I take Wazoo seriously. Maybe I'll look stupid for saying that in a few weeks, but I think that Wazoo Cougars team is a little ahead of where I thought they were going to be. And Washington, I mean, this is the game to prove it, right? If the defense plays really well in this game, then it's time to realize that, hey, they got something special cooking over there. But I just don't think the offense from the first two games is going to be enough to do it. All right, I'm going to go and get out of here. That's my take on this one. Bow down to Washington. Let's get this win. And let's play better. Let's play better than the first 2 weeks. Preseason's over. You got your 2 cupcakes. Now you got to go out there and actually play really well to make sure you get the win. And once again, we'll be doing play-by-play here on YouTube. We'll be streaming it. Hope to see you guys there. Bow down. Let's get to 3-0.